Most people think all chatbots are the same, and that assumption is costing businesses real money. In this video, I'm going to talk about website AI chatbots. The last 6 months, I have spent researching, piloting, and now launching an AI chatbot for our organization. In this video, I'm going to go over the things that I've learned, the things you have to watch out for, so that you don't waste your money and time setting up a chatbot that does not work for you and you have to spend money later on switching to a new AI chatbot. So before you sign up for anything, let me give you the full picture. So why are we talking about AI chatbots? Well, 34% of small businesses already have a chatbot. This is old data. I'm sure it's even higher. And 64% plan to have one by next year. This is not a trend, it's now table stakes. So chatbots cut down customer service costs by almost 30 to 40%, and the average first year ROI on chatbots is 340% return on investment. Economics are there. Now the question is, which one do you choose? So here's my honest take before we actually get into the platforms. So depending on your business, how big you guys are or how small, how much traffic you get in the website. If you have developer or technical skills, I would say build your own. You have more control on it, and then you have lower ongoing costs. That's only for people that are expecting to see 5,000 chats or less, or 5,000 tokens. If it's more than that, your best bet is probably going with an SaaS platform, one that is already set up and can save you more money. And for those that don't have a developer or technical skills, then I would also go with the SaaS platform. And they are super accessible and you do not need to code. Most of the language around it is you could take 2 hours and set up a chatbot to actually use. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend testing it intensively before launching it. But my job today is to help you pick the right one and not to push you to any specific tool. So the first misconception is you have to be technical, you have to be some kind of web developer to actually build a modern chatbot, especially if it's AI based. But in reality, that's not needed. You could use chatbase, tidio, mini chat. All of these can give you the option to easily set up a chatbot and then to actually implement it. They have great guides, or you could just ask ChatGPT to help you set it up into your website. And it's really fast to do. And you really do not need to be a developer or have technical knowledge to do it. The thing that takes the most time, it's not setting it up, it's not implementing it, it's actually training the chatbot, because it's only good as what you train it on. So the content you feed it really does matter. If your FAQs is a mess or you have no content to train it on, then your chatbot will be a mess and it will hallucinate more and not function the way you want it to. So what should you actually look for when you pick one? So the first thing you want to look for is to see if it's an actual AI chatbot or if it's rule-based. So you need to know which one you are buying. There are still rule-based chatbots that only answer what you pre-program it in. And then there's true AI that understands natural language and then can take the natural language and respond to that. If it's not actually drawing from a brain, that being a ChatGPT, Claude, or one of the LLMs, then in reality it's a common chatbot, which it has your pre-programmed question to answer it. The next one to watch out for is the pricing model, and these are different from each SaaS platform that you look at. So some charge per seat, which is pretty predictable. Some charge per AI resolution, which can become extremely volatile really fast. So you say you have 1,000 resolutions a month and Intercom charges 99 cents per resolution. That then adds on $990 a month on top of your seat costs. So definitely do the math before you commit. I would also suggest understanding who will be using it, because some models even charge on conversations. So they give you 250 conversations a month. And what that means is it's just a back and forth. If it's one complete back and forth, no matter how long they're in the chat, that considers one conversation. So say you're in a business and you know there's going to be a lot back and forth and you don't want to pay for the resolutions and you also don't want to pay the token cost, then I would say doing the conversations. Another model that there is just based on the tokens and usage. Chatbase has this model, and it's usually 22,000 for the smallest plan, and that is for a low volume chatbot. I would say one that you expect not a lot of people will use it, and you don't have to worry about going over your limit. So each one you just have to know who your customer is, and then which one fits you the best. So going on, that does lead into our next one. So does it connect to what you already use? Does it connect to your CRM, your e-commerce platform, or your help desk? So a lot of these do have connections that you can make with either Slack or other CRMs or platforms. And this helps just integrate it better. So for example, the Slack one, you could have it so it hands off directly to someone in Slack, which is a nice feature. And each of these platforms are different with what it can work with. So definitely take that into consideration. And that leads into number 4, which is a live agent handoff. And some of these do have the ability, but can the bot escalate to a human? For any customer facing use case, I would say this is definitely a non-negotiable because some people just can't stand chatbots. I know we've all been there. We're just going back and forth, but we're not really getting anywhere. So you definitely want a live agent handoff. And most of the ones I've seen have some kind of feature like this. It just depends on going to number 3, your integration and your ecosystem and how it best fits in that. So number 5, ongoing maintenance. So who's going to keep the knowledge base updated? Do you have a system set up so it updates easily? For example, with my chatbot, I have a log that automatically gets pulled every day, and then I have someone who is a subject matter expert on that actual field and they review it, and then once it's reviewed I have it set up to automatically turn into a document that I can then train the chatbot on. So that's one thing to consider, is how and what is the frequency at which you don't keep the chatbot updated. So next we'll look at the main players. So for the simpler setup, no technical skills, chatbase and tidio would be your best bet. Upload your documents and you could go live pretty fast. Going down, if you already are on HubSpot, then use HubSpot Chat. Already on Freshworks, use freshchat. Match the platform to what you have now. So we have social first business, Instagram, WhatsApp, and DMs. ManyChat is built for that. Intercom is polished and powerful, but watch out for resolution fees at scale. Drift, if someone recommends it to you, ask what the recommendation was written, or ask when that recommendation was written. It's enterprise only now, and it's $2,500 a month minimum, so it's definitely at that top or high tier of chatbots. One more thing that I want to address, the concern that stopped a lot of businesses from adopting these, which is addressing hallucinations. So a year ago, I know especially in my own workplace, the biggest pushback on chatbots was what if it gives the wrong information? And that was a real concern, and I'm still feeling a little bit of pushback on it. But after showing them this data, it helped to get them to come around to it. So peer-reviewed research shows that chatbots trained on your own content using what's called RAG achieves hallucination rates of 2 to 18% compared to the 40% for an ungrounded model. So that's a massive improvement, but it's still not zero. The quality of the knowledge base is still the variable. So good input equals good output. So the hallucinations are dramatically reduced with the proper setup. They're not gone, but managed. So if you do select one of these SaaS platforms, definitely take your time to set it up correctly with good data going in so that you reduce those hallucination rates. So just to conclude, you don't need to be technical when it comes to getting your own AI chatbot. You just have to be smart in the one you choose. Make sure to match the platform to your business, whether it's chatbase or tidio for simplicity, HubSpot or freshchat for CRM first, ManyChat for social, Intercom for a growing support team, BotPress if you want to build. And then the last thing is just read the pricing page carefully. Model out your conversation volume and don't pick a platform based on a blog post from 2023. Definitely take your time in choosing because those costs from switching are not cheap. So that's it for this video. Personally, I want to know which platform you are leaning to, or are you thinking about building your own? Please drop it in the comments. I'll tell you what I think. Subscribe for more practical AI use cases, specifically for small businesses. Thank you guys.